Welcome to this virtual service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Waynesboro for Sunday, September 12th, 2021. This fellowship is a welcoming congregation to people of all sexual orientations and gender identities, and we unconditionally welcome any and all of you to our community of mutual caring. Together, we are all part of an interdependent web of existence. Each one has inherent worth. Welcome. My name is Kay Yost, and since I greeted you in last Sunday's virtual service, the weather here in the Shenandoah Valley has been absolutely gorgeous. I've been spending a lot of time out on my deck this week, observing the hummingbirds, butterflies, bees, and other living creatures out in my yard, and just taking in the beauty of the trees and the flowers. Today, our minister will be speaking on the subject of awe and wonder. As the experience of awe and wonder often begins for me out of doors, I thought I would welcome you today from out here on my deck. And I hope all of you have had opportunities to get out and enjoy this beautiful weather. If you are a visitor here, I thank you for spending time with us today and invite you to come visit us whenever in-person services resume in Fellowship Hall. Please note that contact information on details on how to donate to support the UUFW appear at the end of this video. The flaming chalice is a symbol of the Unitarian Universalist faith, and it is our tradition to light a chalice at the beginning of every service. I now share these words before the lighting of the chalice. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell a story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
20 years ago yesterday, 19 terrorists boarded 4 flights with the intention of using the mass velocity and the fuel load of those planes as bombs, and aimed toward high-profile symbols of American dominance in the world. Within an hour of each other, 3 flights hit their targets. The 4th attempt was thwarted and crashed into a field less than a half hour later. A total of 2,996 people died that day in those incidents: flight crew, passengers, people in the Twin Towers of the Trade Center and at the Pentagon, first responders, and the 19 hijackers who killed them all. Over 6,000 were injured, and the mental health toll was incalculable. America was shaken to its core, and so much of what has happened since has been self-harming ways our country acted on its fear. The Department of Homeland Security was established using the lens of terrorism interception at a great human cost in areas totally unrelated to terrorism prevention. Guantanamo Bay was set up to deny due process to any suspects rounded up abroad. We engaged in kidnap of suspects apprehended at home through the process called extraordinary rendition, a process aimed at denying suspects due process. We engaged in torture using waterboarding and other techniques. Draconian immigration measures came into play. Massive expenditures and security processes at airports changed the way we travel and viewed our own personal integrity and freedom within a lens of fear. Anti-Islamic and racist backlash against people of minority race or religion grew in this country. Militarization of our police put everyone at risk, to say nothing of fighting 2 very long wars that did not accomplish their fluctuating goals nor make America truly safe. These wars cost many more lives than the 9/11 attacks themselves had taken. We fought the wrong battles, indeed the wrong wars, at best kicking the proverbial can of security and safety down the road. An appropriate response today at this milestone anniversary is sorrow, pain, and remorse. Probably the only way forward is to channel that remorse into dismantling the dysfunctional practices that our fear brought us to, and to commit to a different way of acting in the world as a nation. We know that the change we would try to make is hard and slow, while unintentional change resulting from our fear can be fast coming and quickly entrenched. So let us hold today the people lost in the 2 decades of 9/11, their surviving families, those injured in body and spirit, and indeed our whole nation in our hearts with intention and care. And let us find comfort this morning in this reworking of the 23rd Psalm, written by my seminary friend, Kevin Tarsa. May I remember in this tender moment that love is my guide, always shepherding me toward ways of openness and compassion. I have what I need, really, with love at my side, above me, below me, in front of me, behind me, inside every cell of me. Love infused everywhere. Just when the weight of the world I inhabit threatens to drop me in place and press my hope down into the ground beneath me, love invites me to rest for a gentle while and leads the center of my soul to the quiet, still, restoring waters nearby that somehow I had not noticed. And so love quietly sets me again on its tender and demanding path. Even when the walls close around me and the cries of death echo through untold corners, gripping my heart with fear and sadness, I know that all will be well, that I will be well, when love whispers near to me, glints at the corner of my eye, rests with gentle and persistent invitation on my shoulders. Yes, love blesses me, even as the sources and symbols of my pain look on. Love blesses me from its infinite well, and I turn and notice that goodness and kindness and grace follow me everywhere I go. I live in a house of love, love that will not let me go. I live in a house of love, and always will. As we come together virtually in this service, we bring the joys and the sorrows of our personal lives with us, in addition to all of those things that are out there in the world that we all have to deal with. We have individual joys and sorrows that today remain unspoken. Let us hold them quietly in our hearts together.
Let the Artist Win by Bob Janice Dillon. I vote we let the artist win, the ones covered in paint from their last attempt to smuggle across the beauty of a bowl of fruit. The 14-year-old rapper learning to spit, throwing life's chaos on the rhythm wheel, uncovering the shapes that live on after the next break. I say we let the food bank volunteers win, the ones always carrying around their agenda for the meeting, waging campaigns to stock shelves with bread. I would like to see the nurses extend their string of victories from the hospital bed to the nation's boardrooms, until we care for each other as if death were inevitable and mercy was the only thing that made the rounds bearable. I say we let the kindergarten teachers win, as they raise up small edifices for the beauty words will never capture or reveal. Maybe even let the helpless drunkard win sometimes, when she cries into her beer and declares it's all too much. I will let the grandmothers win when they tell the old stories that hold me in their keeping, and the children yelling, "Play, play," the ones who have already cost us so much of our final productivity, the only tyrants who can command the true attention of the wise. I want them to win too, again and again, without pity. And then, when the men with guns come, we can say, "I'm sorry, but whether you win or lose, it's really never been my game, sir. I have lost, and lost again, 1,000 wars of the heart, and those to whom I have waved the white flag, those to whom I have surrendered, the whole and holy of my life, will never let me go."
In the light of love, we are home. In the light of love, we are home. In the light of love, we heal and sing. Thy will be done. In the light of love.
Nourished by Jay Wolin. When I look up into the night sky, I am in awe of all that is. There, in a faraway galaxy, a star has died, yet it is still bright for my eyes to see and make a wish upon. When I walk in the ocean, I feel the waves rush across my feet, and I feel a certain peace with the world. I peer out into the endless horizon, knowing they came from a place beyond where I can see. When I sit around the fire, I feel its warmth enter me without ever touching me. And I feel safe from the unknown. Wherever I am, I take in a breath, and I know I am in the present moment. All of these wonders that move us and make us feel alive, and make us dream, and make us wonder, let us protect them, so that my children, our children, everyone's children, my grandchildren, our grandchildren, everyone's grandchildren, for generations upon generation, will also have the chance to look beyond the horizon and marvel at the wonder of existence, and continue to be nourished by our home, the earth.
Far beyond the grasp of hands, or light to meet the eye, past the reaches of the mind. There find the key to nature's harmony, in an architecture so entwined. Like the birds whose patterns grace the sky, and carry all who join in love expanding, the message of peace will rise in flight, taking the weight of the world upon its wings, in the oneness of everything. Peace is in the dance of trees, who stir before the first breath of wind is yet perceived. Trust in the song becoming one with the dance, and all mysteries can be believed. Songs of lives long past the touch our own are written in the earth ever giving, and now to maintain the harmony gives to us all lives worth living, for the oneness of everything. Still we seek to find the truth, that we might understand and reduce to terms defined. Vast and immeasurable time and space, also overwhelmingly designed. Oh, passing years, just might I know the faith that winters in the heart, to be reborn in spring, to hear and to feel the pulse of life. a song to sing of the oneness of everything.
My three brothers and I have a private Facebook group just for us in which we keep each other updated on our parents' condition. We first started the group because our mom and dad are spectacularly uncommunicative about pretty much everything other than how much rain they got and how their garden is doing. My brothers and I make plans together and discuss what is going on in our lives. Yes, we also commiserate over our less than ideal shared and unique childhood experiences and over the ways our parents' values, beliefs, and child rearing philosophy created unwanted challenges for us that we are still working on. You know, the normal stuff that adult siblings share with each other. We share information about our genealogy and about the county, church, and schools we grew up in, and about our old neighbors. In addition to all these pragmatic and mutually supportive discussions, we chat about whatever interests us, growing to know each other now that we are in our 50s and 60s in ways we never could when we were younger. In one recent discussion, my youngest brother shared a link to a site discussing ecological issues common to all parts of a specific watershed. He commented that he didn't remember ever learning about watersheds in school. My other brothers agreed that our schooling skipped over quite a few things. I think I do remember a grade school unit on evaporation, condensation, precipitation, interception, infiltration, percolation, transpiration, runoff, and storage. That water cycle that is basic learning in school. Maybe there was a paragraph in there about watersheds. Or maybe that learning came to me when we were learning the names of rivers and river systems in the United States. But even back then, before we had the opportunity or the need to spend time learning about computers and this new learning connected to them, before the explosion of the electronic information age, there was even then already more stuff to learn than it was possible to fit into a public school education. No, we hadn't yet learned that school wasn't really about learning stuff, but about learning how to learn so that we would be prepared for an unknowable future. And so it was not uncommon. Couldn't be anything else other than to skim over the top, to barely touch the surface of many topics out there to engage with. The deeper learning, the fuller engagement would have to be deferred to hobby learning in an area of particular interest as an adult, and for graduate school preparation for careers that go deeper into it all. The body of knowledge grows at such a fantastic rate. After that watershed discussion with my brothers, I was particularly intrigued this past week to have a ministry colleague share a link with me to a website where you could click a location on a map of the lower 48 states, or even enter a street address and have the water flow calculated from that exact location with an animated map that followed the flow of rainfall on that site, or for that matter, of chemical spillage, all the way to the sea. I clicked on the map at the location where the house once stood, where my brothers and I grew up, and shared the link to that animation with my brothers. Rain that fell on our roof there flowed 1,270 miles through ditches, creeks, small rivers, and eventually to the Ohio River and into the Mississippi River, onto the Gulf of Mexico. Water that falls on my yard here follows a 352-mile path to the Chesapeake Bay. It's such amazing technology that's available now. And it's amazing the natural world of connection and interdependence and return. Amazing the cycle of water from evaporation to its return to the sea. And that one cycle of water through nature makes the story of life on Earth possible. Remember when that reality first blew your mind, learning in elementary school the outline of how it works, how water that's in the sea becomes the water in everything else? Remember that Christian verse that goes more or less like this. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child. And as I grew up, I developed adult ways of thinking, understanding, and acting. Because remaining in childhood patterns is not in my best interest or the best interest of the world around me. When we were children learning about evaporation, condensation, precipitation, interception, infiltration, percolation, transpiration, runoff, and storage, that knowledge was all new to us, and learning it represented true growth. But being adults requires us to see the bigger picture and to act in ways compatible with that bigger picture. Now, the science solidly points to a crisis for life as we know it on this planet through the process of global warming and climate change. And those processes are solidly grounded in human action, not merely in accidents of nature. The interdependence of the ways we procure and use energy for the perpetual growth machine of our global economy, and our perpetual progress philosophy. That all pairs up with cultures of conspicuous consumption and disposability, all working together to change our world in truly fearsome ways. We have just experienced the dreadful force of Hurricane Ida in a storm we know to be much more dangerous because of human processes that exacerbate climate change. We look at nature in wonder and fear. We stand in awe of the terrible power of such a storm and wonder what it means for our future on this tiny, seemingly isolated planet. Wonder and awe. It's not all roses and sunshine, but are points of entry into new possibilities, both in elementary school science class and in our governmental and business decision-making processes. Wonder and awe are gates we go through to something that has the possibility of being different on the other side. As Unitarian Universalists, our seventh principle is respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. It's not just a religious belief or outlook that interdependence is the nature of all being. It is a scientifically determined reality that the part always affects the whole, and the whole always affects the part in complex and vital ways. The religious and spiritual part of it comes in the word respect. Respect veering toward reverence. Ours is a religion grounded in wonder, just as surely as any other religion may be. Our wonder, our awe is amplified by and also grounded in scientific exploration and learning of new ways those connections affect our world, our place in it, and the viability and sustainability of human life and cultures on Earth. Wonder and awe move us to learn more, to understand more, so that we can act in more life-affirming ways going forward. It has been the dilemma of modern science ever since the European Enlightenment that some fear that more learning, that better understanding, that behaving as adults would destroy the joy and wonder and awe brought at an earlier moment in our development. But for us, stepping into adulthood promises new wonder and new awe. Adulthood not just as individuals, but as a community, as a nation, as a species. For us, stepping into adulthood promises new wonder and new awe. So let us cherish the awe and the wonder our movement and the natural world inspire in us, but let us also treasure the growth that comes when we commit to living in the world that is, in ways that those who come after us can also treasure this life and this world. Let us grow in our commitment to the adult task of fixing what we have collectively made wrong. Let us preserve wonder and awe, eyes wide open, motivated by love. Amen, and blessed be.
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the light of the heavens in a beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the wind uphold